Yeah, the reason why I didn't tell you I was getting your email for the past couple of days is, quite frankly, I didn't want to.
It's simple. When you get right down to it, actually, the truth is the story isn't simple. It's long and complex. That's why it's so hard to sum up. If it was simple, I would have made a haiku about it. I got 2 points. The first point is this. There's a word I like. It's a word called a dichotomy. You can look it up. It means something split into 2 parts that don't overlap, that don't touch each other. It's the difference between one thing and another. It's the point at which you can say this is definitively this and it's not that. It's a great word. There's a dichotomy between the way I think people should behave and the way you think people should behave. Months and months ago, when I sent people that letter that you wrote Bob about how wonderful he was and what you'd said, you went apoplectic. Said no one had the right to do that. Nobody should be able to block somebody else's private emails. Seems like you've changed your mind now. Except you really haven't changed your mind. If your feelings get hurt, you feel like you can do whatever you want. I tell you, I'm not coming up to Portland until things change, till things improve, till I have some reason to believe things aren't going to be like they were last time. You say, okay, I understand, that makes sense. Instead, I'm going to go with plan B. I'm going to try to make you feel bad about yourself so you do what I want. I tell you I can't date you anymore, and you invent a fake person. And the thing that really gets me is I've got a couple of emails where you talk about the lies that I told you. And you listed when you sent that girl that email about how I lied to you and how I treated you so bad. You said that you caught me telling lies. Can you really catch someone telling lies to your imaginary friend? Seriously? Look, Lisa, I keep getting these messages from you where you say, love me and I'll love you forever, fuck with me and I'll rip you a new one. Great, it's a lovely slogan. Well, my slogan is probably like this. I don't know that I'm a good person. I think I try. Sometimes I think I try harder than others. I'd really like to be a good person. I'm not perfect. There's lots of things I do wrong. Every time I do anything wrong, it's an excuse for whatever the hell you want to do. Anything. Lisa, I'm a person who firmly believes that if somebody's grandmother dies, we're not effing 10 years old. You don't get to call dibs. I don't care if you're married, if you're dating, whatever. Somebody loses their grandmother, and we're talking about a grandmother that I grew up with. We're not talking about some old person. Maybe you don't understand that because you have told me that your grandparents were dead. But I could sit and talk about my adventures with my grandparents for probably days, if not hours, weeks, months, who knows. But when my grandmother dies and I tell someone who's not you, guess what? If it bothers you, you suck it up. You cowgirl up. You don't demand that I apologize to you. And if you do demand that I apologize to you, if you get a response like, oh, I don't know, me screaming at you, calling you names, and demanding that you justify how you could be so screwed up that you're making me do that, if it ends up in me crying and maybe throwing up and hanging up on you, you might want to take out a little post-it note and write down, oh, guess what? Bad response from Michael equals bad idea. 2 weeks later, don't try to do it again. 3 months later, don't invent a dead guy so you can tell me that after I experienced the throwing up, I tasted the vomit and the tears. And you're going to tell me in the third person through a dead guy that you would never do anything like that. Maybe you made a mistake. Maybe you meant to say you would never do it again now that you see how bad it sucks. But no, not that either. No, you said that you would never use my grandmother's death to your own benefit. You said that while you were doing it. You were lying in the third person. That's like an episode of Seinfeld. Jimmy doesn't like it when you don't tell Jimmy the truth. Jimmy doesn't know what happened. Jimmy's covering things up. It's funny if it wasn't sad for me. Before your little strip club affair, you told me that I dated Ari, that I was involved with her, that the only possible reason that I could be freaked out about Ari was because I had thought you had contacted her and found out the truth. Really? That's the way you're gonna go? It couldn't be that, oh, you're acting like a psycho and looking up my exes and trying to ferret out what's going on with me? You and I talked about Ari for 2 freaking hours. She was the girl who served me coffee at the Borders. She was pretty, and she was nice, and she really seemed like she liked me, and I thought she wanted to be my friend. We hung out once, and she decided to pee in front of me. For no reason, and not even in a toilet, to pee on the ground. That's my story. That's what I told you the first time. And I think deep down inside you probably still remember that. But you had no problem telling me that I talked about dates. Dates that I don't remember. Dates that never happened. Dates that I would have to struggle to describe. Wait, let me see. We went on the boardwalk, and then we drank a malt, and then we went into the sock hop. Oh wait, that's not me. That's American Graffiti. You had no problem with that at all. And when I tell you, hey, that's wrong, that's not true, you do it again, and again, and again, and again. And you won't stop. And so, I don't want to talk to you anymore. You gave me a little contract thingy, and it was pretty simple, and you violated it a couple of different times in a couple of different ways, but the most simplest one you did was that whole lying about something and covering up a big act of dishonesty. It's right there at the end. You did it more than once. And so that's when I called it quits. I don't think that's really all that hard to understand. And I think you pretty much could understand if you wanted to. I think you just don't want to. And that's fine. I understand that. You pretty much do what you want. So, that's why I'm not talking to you anymore. Because I don't want to. I don't want to talk to you. It's not hard for you to understand, really. You kind of knew that I didn't want you to have my email, but you listened to it anyway. You wanted to, so you did. Well, there, now you know how it is. You want me to talk to you, and I don't want to. The second thing is, I don't care how you got access to my email. I don't know how it happened, whether you guessed my password, whether I messed it up, whether you found some hacker guy to do it for you, whatever, I don't care. All I care about is the fact that you took my private email and blogged it. Something you say is horrible and nobody should ever do. And yes, I got all Scooby Gang. I had Autumn invent the email. There you go, Matt too. Yeah, I got a security alert from Google and I tried to figure out what was going on. And I noticed that all my email was getting forwarded to you. And I wanted to know why that was happening. Actually, I thought kind of in my head that you might do the right thing. I thought you might call me up on the phone, leave me a voicemail that says, hey, you're a retard. Why don't you learn to work your computer? Instead of blocking all my emails, you're sending all your emails back to me. You could have even made fun of me, and that would have been okay, because you would have been giving me the information.
I suggest you go check my blog. You lying, cheating, piece of shit, fuck. You are so going to pay for the damages you've done to my fucking wife in the past 2 years.
Are you waiting for her to answer, Nana?